What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
All right. What is it? Is it Sunday night already? That means it must be Sunday night Radio Baloney Live. I am your host, Richie Baloney. How's everybody doing? Good to see you guys. Hey, I hope everybody had a lovely, happy Christmas and a great New Year. Looks we got Izzy and Rosie already in the chat. Rosie, Happy New Year, she says. Happy New Year to you, Rosie. Happy New Year, Izzy. I think everybody else should be hopefully showing up soon. Yeah, I hope everyone's had a great time. It's been a while since I've talked to you because, that time of year, you got to take some time off, did a road trip. By the way, one more thing, which I'm not happy about. Hey, we got Nevada's in already. Good to see you. Happy New Year to you. But this coming Friday, I may not be able to do it again because it's just basically a family thing. I'm trying to get out of it, or figure a way that I can still do the live stream, but I don't know if it's going to be possible. But if not, it's okay. I mean, if not, I just can't do it, and I have to do my thing, and I guess that's just the way it is. But I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to try to be able to do the Friday, but if I can't, I can't, and that's just the way it is. But anyway, we're here today. We're here tonight. We're going to be here on Tuesday, and if I can't do the Friday, I will probably do like a couple hours on Thursday to make up for it, and then be back on the Sunday again, and then we should be good for months, just like clockwork. Every Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, unless, I don't know, something happens, and things tend to happen, but whatever. Anyway, hope everybody had a great Christmas. Happy New Year to everybody. And now it's time to get back to looking at how insane the world is again. And spoiler alert, it's always insane. So what are we talking about? What are we going to talk about tonight? Well, let's get to the menu. First off, we're going to take a look at this Tesla bomber, the Tesla Trump Tower bomber. And there's a lot of weird stuff about this, which is very strange. Now, I have to tell you, I've not been plugged in. I've not been plugged in this last, week, 8-9 days, whatever. I've put out a few videos, but those were just clip videos from the last live stream. So I've not been plugged in. So I've just started now digging into the news again, so researching these things and finding out what's going on. And there are strange things we're going to go over. There's some strange stuff with this, with the claims that are being made, and then with the video footage, which we're going to go through, which I will show you here. It's a very strange what they're saying happened, and then the video evidence itself seems to contradict that, because you can actually see him through the window there. So we're going to go through a bunch of stuff. It'll probably take us a while, but it's very interesting. It was very interesting to research. I don't know what the hell's happening. I just know that there's some stuff that really doesn't add up, and whether that'll be cleared up through time or not, I don't know. But we'll see. We're going to talk about this. This had a huge impact. This really blew up. It's how can you tell I haven't streamed for 9 days? It's Jordan Peterson and Pierre Poilievre. It's an hour and 40-minute podcast. Pierre learned something from Trump. Every conservative politician around the world is either learning from Trump or they're losing. That's my opinion. Pierre is paying attention, and the best things from Trump he's doing. Like, this is the equivalent for Canada of Trump sitting down with Joe Rogan for 3 hours, right? This wasn't 3 hours, it was an hour and 40 minutes, something like that. But this is the Canadian equivalent of that. Pierre Poilievre sitting down for a long-form, free-ranging discussion with Jordan Peterson. And by the way, you've got to be a talented politician, and you've got to be smart to pull this off, right? There's a reason why Kamala Harris didn't go on Joe Rogan after Trump did. She was invited on. She was invited on to the Joe Rogan show. She didn't go. There's a reason she couldn't pull it off. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody can sit for an hour and 40 minutes and answer questions. Not everybody knows enough Not everybody understands the details well enough. And I'm including politicians in that. Obviously Kamala didn't know enough. Didn't understand politics or the economy or the issues at hand in the election well enough to sit down with Joe Rogan and have a real conversation. Trudeau couldn't do this. Trudeau couldn't sit down forget Jordan Peterson, just put him in with somebody friendly. Sit him down with Rosemary Barton, right? Trudeau couldn't do this. He doesn't have a grasp of the issues. He doesn't have a grasp of the economics involved. He can't get into detail. He doesn't understand anything. Remember, Trudeau's the guy who said the budget will balance itself. And we'll have to, forgive him for not thinking about monetary policy. The prime minister said that. So this was a great move. This is something you learned from Trump. Yeah, do these podcasts are powerful. Now they're mainstream now. These are better than sitting down with some biased, teleprompter reader interview in corporate media. This is better than that. So we've got tons of clips from that. By the way, here was Justin Trudeau. He did a 4-minute thing with a, unfortunately, very unfunny comedy show called This Hour is 22 Minutes in Canada. 3 days, it got 118,000 views. Peterson and Pierre Poilievre, 36 million views. That's as of yesterday. Plus, I think it's up to about 2 million on YouTube by now. So we've got a ton on this. We'll go through that. We'll talk about Trudeau. They're talking about he's going to resign tomorrow morning. He's got a 6-hour caucus meeting. I don't think that he will. I think he's just as delusional and narcissistic as ever. I don't think that he's going to resign, but that's the word right now. That's the word on the political street. I expect that he'll prorogue Parliament for God knows how long, suspend Parliament to buy himself a bit more time. I don't think he's going to sit. I think he'll be in charge of the Liberals. I think he will be leading the Liberals into the next election. But anyway, we're going to talk about that. What's going on with him? All of the awful things that he does. We're going to talk about potential new leaders if Trudeau does step down. It's not looking good for any of them, frankly. We've got something from Batya Ungar Sargon here, which I think might be interesting. We'll take a look at that, talking about before Donald Trump, there was a handshake agreement between both parties to erase our national borders, to import millions and millions of low-wage cheap labor, and to export and offshore manufacturing, good middle-class jobs, blah, blah, blah. And yes, it's all very correct, obviously. And that's across the West, by the way. Same thing in Canada. Same thing in the UK. Then we will get to the last one. We've got some stuff. Now, you guys send in stuff to my X account to put on. I want to apologize this time because I didn't have time to go properly through all of those. I grabbed a couple of things from Rosie and I couldn't get anything else. I just didn't have time. It was the last thing and I went, oh, shoot, I forgot to look at that. So hopefully I'll be more on top of things next week. I know Rosie sent me a bunch of stuff. I did grab a couple of them that I was able to locate quickly. Let's see. We got Douglas Murray here, who's always fantastic, a defender of Western civilization, unapologetic about Western civilization, exactly what we need. We got some memes. We've got some good memes. I mean, look at this one. We're just a sneak peek here. My dog waiting for me to drop any part of my sandwich. Yeah. They go Full Metal Jacket every time. That's every dog. Every dog. What do we got? We got Whitney Cummings saying some things on CNN that probably didn't make Anderson Cooper very happy. I don't know what's going on there. Crazy stuff. Let's see. We got Scott Jennings because he's just kind of become a little bit of a fixture for the last recent while because he's just destroying CNN every time he's on CNN now, which I'm enjoying quite a bit. We've got a bunch of stuff. Most of this I forgot that I put in there in the first place. I don't even recognize this because this all went in like 10 days ago after the last stream. But we'll get to all of that. Of course, of course, we have the puppy palate cleansers here. If things get too um, depressing, too dark with all this terrible news, we'll go to the puppy palate cleanser. That makes you feel better. And you need some of this. Let's see. Then, of course, we have our cooking shows, these are also palate cleansers as well. They're instructional. If we need to, when I take a break, I'll throw on a cooking show. I know it's very useful for you guys. I mean, so everybody loves sandwiches, making sandwiches. These make this is an astoundingly good sandwich that she makes here. Fantastic stuff. And of course, everybody loves noodles as well. Noodles are fantastic. So I'll get to all of that. I'm also going to show you some stats about Canada. Why Justin Trudeau is such a failure. Why he is so hated in the Great White North. I'm sure you guys already know this, but I'd like to just keep hammering it home. Rant juice. It's the best. All right, before we get into all of that, let's should we get a bit of music for our noodle muse? I think she's like the original muse of the channel, I think. We haven't done this for a while, but I think we should. Let's see. Where did I put the button? Hold on. Where did it go? Oh. All right, give me 1 second here. I gotta find the right button. Hold on. Where is it? You guys know what I'm talking about. Oh, there we go. Just the beginning, because we're running on YouTube right now. In fact, that will probably get my stream demonetized on YouTube. By the way, after the first hour, we will be cutting off the YouTube portion of this and continuing on Rumble. So we always start with both Rumble and YouTube, but we have to cut YouTube off after about an hour just because there's all kinds of like frivolous copyright things. It just ends up becoming a nightmare. So I try and keep it as safe as possible for that stuff the first hour. And then we'll just continue on with Rumble after we cut off the YouTube part. It just becomes a real, like the back end stuff just becomes a real pain in the ass, frankly. And actually just playing those like 3 notes probably just got the YouTube stream demonetized. Not that I'm going to make any money on it anyway. I don't know why I even care. It doesn't matter. But anyway, listen. After an hour, YouTube goes. It's just the way it is. Not that I don't appreciate the YouTube people. I do. I value you highly. You are loved. But it's best to watch over on Rumble, the live streams anyway. It's just the way it is. They treat me better. And you too. So what are you guys saying? Let's get into the chat, and then we'll get into the all of those stories that we've gone through. Let's see. Is he saying my week is looking up already? Must be because I hit that like button. What a great point. Hit the like button. Your week will immediately improve. I mean, I can't say that's guaranteed, but it certainly can't hurt. It's the good karma, you see. Every time you press that like button or subscribe to the channel, if you're not already, you get the good karma, free good karma from me. The time that I spend researching and putting together these streams beforehand, it builds up this reservoir, this internal reservoir of good karma for me. Now, at first I thought I'd just keep all of that, but then I realized keeping it is selfish and therefore bad karma. So I have to give away the karma to just keep the good karma flowing and so that I don't get inundated with bad karma. Anyway, what am I going to do with all that good karma? I give it to you, the people who really deserve it. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel and then like the stream. That's it. Then you get the good karma. Can you really turn up your nose on that? At then, in these troubled times, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen in the next minute. If it was me, I'd be grabbing up that good karma as fast as I could. So anyway, just go ahead and hit that like button right now. Let's see. Nevada was thinking 7:30 tonight. It's Fridays, 7:30. Fridays. Let's see. As he says, I'm sure I'll survive the withdrawals one more week. One more week. Let's see. Nevada says, 2 weeks from tomorrow. I can hardly wait. Then bye-bye to Trudeau. I've got a feeling he's going to hang around. I think he's going to prorogue Parliament tomorrow. That's what's going to happen for like 2 months or something. I don't think his ego and his kind of his own self of destiny and fate, and that he's the chosen one, and somehow he'll pull it out. I think he's really that delusional. Izzy says, wouldn't it be nice if we lived in a world where you could trust and believe what authority says? It would be. Unfortunately, we're not in that world anymore. Rosie says, goodbye, Trudeau. Trump is encouraging the world. I think that Trump has been an enormously positive force on the world. I've said this before. I said this on election night. That incredible historic evening, that was a great stream, by the way, wasn't it? That was like a 7-hour stream. That was unbelievable. It was filled with all that tension and then just like emotion. And then it happened, just disbelief at the end, just like, wait a second, he got Pennsylvania. He got Pennsylvania. Like he's actually won. At that point, you knew he'd won. I mean, you remember this? The weird thing about that night was that we were all really expecting. We knew that it was most likely that Trump would win because we'd gone through the polling, right? And we'd found out what the polling errors were, what the bias was in the polling, the last 2 election cycles. We looked at who were the most accurate, who were actually really like Atlas, Rasmussen, very accurate the last 2 cycles. Right. And then we looked at the swing states. And it was pretty obvious that Trump had the advantage going. He had the advantage going in. Like, it shouldn't have been a surprise to anybody that he won. I mean, I was surprised that he just cleared out the swing states. That was amazing. He just swept them. But it shouldn't have really been a surprise to anybody. Right. So, we knew, because we'd gone through the data, the real data, right? But even still, you guys will remember that we're watching that night. Even still, I was still in disbelief because it had been like, I don't know, it's got to be one of the most epic, probably the most epic election of all time in the United States, with the assassination attempts and the lawfare. And even though I was expecting him to win, I thought it was very likely that he'd win. When he actually did it, when you saw that he actually pulled it off, greatest comeback of all time, it was still like, wow. Like, there's a part of me that just didn't believe that the good guys could win. That was crazy. Anyway, but you guys remember. Nevada says, I will never trust government for the rest of my life. That's not a bad place to start. Not a bad place to start. Let's see. Rosie says, me too. And she says, wait, does that make me part of the Me Too movement? Well, I guess we're taking back Me Too, is the thing. Nevada says, I don't think we were ever supposed to trust government. Well, that's it, right? Like checks and balances, all of that, right? We the people. Let's see. Rosie says, the government was already losing my trust. Then the lockdowns, then the masks, then the jabs, then watching the convoy in Canada, et cetera, et cetera. Well, yeah, I mean, I think that in the United States, it was really particularly terrifying watching the lawfare. Just turning into a banana republic. That should have terrified everybody. So a lot of people just ate it up, right? It was quite so obvious that they were going to stitch him up just so they could say convicted felon. I mean, that whole Merchant thing in New York with the misdemeanor, with the hush money thing, totally, utterly absurd. Has no chance on appeal, right? Just a stitch up, 100%, right? But they wanted to be able to say convicted felon. It didn't work because enough people saw right through it and went, yeah, they're just cheating. Just straight up cheating. I mean, whatever they were doing before, this is definitely just cheating. Let's see. Nevada says OC 9/11, Patriot Act, WMD, Sandy Hook, Boston bombing, hands up, don't shoot, I can't breathe, etc. Such. Yeah, there's so many. The WMD's one is one that just fascinates me because that was the New York Times. Judith Miller. Do you remember all of this? Right? Just straight up lying. I mean, I was talking to a lefty friend. I don't know. It was probably years ago now, actually. And we're arguing about something, and he said, yeah, but the New York Times. I said, the New York Times told you there was WMDs in Iraq. Right? They swore on it. Right? They told you that. Like, come on. Like, you still just credulously believe everything they tell you? That was kind of a big deal. Apparently not, though. People just forget. Rosie says she puts invites on. She put invites on Truth Social and X. Well, thank you very much, Rosie. All right. Let's get to a couple more here, and then we'll get into this crazy Cybertruck story. Rosie says election night was a great watch party, and many people got cut off. You had even more viewers. Yeah, we had a good night. We had a good night that night. Let's see. Nevada says he should cut YouTube now. Is the Cybertruck thing going to get me in trouble? It just might. It just might. I don't know. I'm going to risk it. I already played 3 notes of a song, so I'm probably already demonetized anyway. Right? Nevada says election night was a blast here. I'll never forget that. That was an amazing experience for me. Just doing it, just watching the whole thing, covering the whole thing live with all of you guys. It was just awesome. And then just the fact that sanity won, like Western values won, right? Freedom won. I'm not saying that Trump is going to fulfill everybody's best dreams of freedom and personal liberty and all of that. I'm saying that he ain't the opposite. He's not a commie, right? He actually is interested in Western civilization and values it. Right? He's not a fucking commie. He's not a globalist. Like, he is the good guy. He's got to do things that lots of people don't like. But he is a signal to the world that you can, I mean, I'll borrow a word from the left here, you can resist. You don't have to take the globalist, progressive woke bullshit. You don't have to have progressive woke overlords. Let's see. All right. So, should we just get to it? The Tesla bomber. So, first off, let's just get to the basic details of this. All right. So, hold on a second. I've got this stuff all just kind of mixed up in here. All right, so what happened? Looks like a suicide bomber. This is January 1st. Cybertruck pulls up to the front of Trump Tower. No one gets out. Cybertruck explodes with most of the energy being in the truck bed and going out through the cover. Okay. So there it is. So this brings up an interesting question that this guy apparently had all the skills to build a bomb that would have taken the whole building down if he'd wanted to. Fireworks, gasoline, propane tanks. The fact that it's Cybertruck, which is it's the least likely one to use if you want to be successful with a bombing. The guy was a Trump supporter. He loved the Tesla. We'll get to all of that. This is just weird. Why would you pull it up to a Trump hotel in Las Vegas and blow up a Tesla? Two things that he likes and supports. Right off the bat, that's very odd, is it not? Okay. Hold on. So let's take a look. The alleged Las Vegas Cybertruck bomber reached out to ex-girlfriends excited about renting a Cybertruck per the Gazette. So what's he saying here? It's been wild, so much learning and fun. Rented a Tesla Cybertruck. It's the shit. I'm building my drones in my new position. You would love it. I feel like Batman or Halo. Doesn't sound like a guy who's about to blow himself up. Let's see. From Justin Theory here. New footage of the Vegas bomber at a Tesla charging station outside Las Vegas can be seen he can be seen cleaning off the footstep. He can be seen cleaning off the footstep for the truck. Ask yourself, who cleans a truck they are about to blow up? Well, it does look like the guy. Why would you do that if you're about to blow up a truck? I don't know. Can I confirm this is definitely the guy? No, but it looks like it's him. All right. So, who is this guy? U.S. Army has released the awards for Livensberger. Livensberger's awards are impressive and consistent with someone who served in special forces and saw combat. 5 Bronze Stars, including one with a Valor Device, 4 Afghanistan Campaign Awards, CIB Special Forces tab. I mean, you can see here, there's a ton, right? Let's see. Here's something interesting. The Las Vegas MPD just had a press conference to update on the Cybertruck explosion. Livensberger's military ID was found, as were a pistol and a rifle. He shot himself in the head prior to detonation. We're going to get to that because it doesn't look like he actually did. ID survived, which seems unlikely, doesn't it? Like a passport surviving, it just seems kind of okay. I suppose it's possible. You can see there is some burning there, some melting, but it seems kind of unlikely to me. Now there was some messages from him, but I want to get first to the story is that he pulled up, he shot himself in the head, and then the car blew up. But I want to show you something here. Okay, here's video. Here's video right before and during the explosion. All right. Give me 1 second. Okay, we're going to go back here. All right, so you can see there, you can see that it looks like he's facing towards the window there. Here's the steering wheel. All right. There he is behind the steering wheel. Looks like he moves his head there. Does not appear to have shot himself in the head before the explosion. So why are they saying that? It seems strange, doesn't it? Seems very strange. There we are. This is him here. There you go. And the explosion starts in the front here, not in the back, where all of the fireworks, the gasoline, propane tanks were. So that's also interesting. Now, let's talk about the weapon that he used. Let's see. Where do I have this sorted? Hold on a second. Let me just. Just give me a second here. Seems like something that I had, a couple of things I had seem to have disappeared out of my bookmarks, but hold on. Maybe we can find it here. Okay. Jay Anderson. FBI lying about the Tesla bomber's death. The FBI have stated that he took his own life with a Desert Eagle prior to the explosion, but in this newly released video, he appears to be alive and moving just before the explosion. Yeah, so this is the video we looked at. So he had a handgun and a rifle. Well, you're not likely to use a rifle in that constricted space, right? So a handgun would make sense. Desert Eagle. Okay. So what would the damage be if you shot yourself in the face with a Desert Eagle? So Desert Eagle caliber, typically chambered in 50 cal Action Express, 44 Magnum, or 357 Magnum. Well, if he shot himself with a 50 cal, his head would just disintegrate. There'd be no head. In that video, there would be no head. Like, it just wouldn't exist, right? But let's go to the lower. Let's go to the Magnum 357 Magnum. Significant trauma likely to cause a large entry wound and possibly a significant exit wound with considerable brain damage and skull fracturing. The head would not be completely blown apart, but would suffer from severe trauma. It's something you would notice, right? Like, you would see it in, it would be enough that you would see it in this. Hold on. Like, his head is fully intact there. You can see. I don't think there's any question of that. Right? So that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. Let's get to some more stuff here. All right. Chief Nerd. Sam Shoemate says Matt Livensberger may have changed his meds prior to the Las Vegas bombing. So this is another thing, right? So, I mean, look, if those depression meds, anxiety meds, they mess people up. They're dangerous. An honest doctor will tell you that. Let's hear this.
So after I did the interview, a lot of people, nobody knew that I had the manifesto. I had to be very quiet for a day. So people were messaging me and they're like, have you heard of this guy? Have you seen this? Blah, blah, blah. And they didn't know I wasn't posting on it. People expect me to post on these relevant incidents like this, because just like I had posted on the New Orleans guy. So I was like being very quiet, because Sean was like, dude, you haven't told anybody, any other media you have this, right? I was like, no, nobody. I wasn't going to put it out on my own social media, because people would be like, dude, you made this up. I knew I couldn't handle this information on my own. So anyways, after I did the show and it blew up and people were like, holy crap, they knew who I was. And people on my Instagram page started telling me things. So I had a lot of people reaching out, telling me what they had talked to, but with their Green Beret buddies. One person reached out and told me they had a very close connection to members of the family, which I won't go into. But what I've learned since then, and I'm going to say allegedly because I don't have proof of this, but I've had 3 people tell me this. allegedly, Matt Livelsberger changed his meds several days prior to this incident. I don't know what several days means, but what I was told by several people who I value their input and are close to the situation told me that he was on antipsychotic medication. He had changed his medications, and they said that basically something crazy happened and he became suicidal. So people ask me, is he sane? Was he whatever? Well, I've gotten two stories on this, and I want people to hear me very carefully on this because I am saying two different things at the same time. What I have heard from family members, and this is what I put out. I think I put this out on the Sean Ryan podcast because I heard this from, I saw this on social media. I have not personally talked to any family members. Let me make that clear. I saw on social media that members of his family had said that this was not normal for him. He was very normal. He was very sane mind. His teammates were shocked. Everybody was shocked because he was not a crazy dude, whatever else. And that's what I knew. And then after the podcast, I found out that it was literally he changed his medication within days of this event and something shifted. So if his family had not seen that within the days of this, he could have been acting very bizarre, very strange. And the manifesto that he wrote, along with these letters and everything.
Those kinds of meds, they make people suicidal. It can seriously mess you up. Those kinds of meds, maybe they help, maybe they make things worse. Switching your meds can have massive effect on people. None of this addresses the fact that they said he shot himself in the head, and it sure doesn't look like he did. I wanted to go to this quickly. Friends and family of Matthew Livelsberger have publicly expressed shock. Friends and family of him have publicly expressed shock and confusion following the Tesla Cybertruck bombing incident. His uncle Dean Livelsberger described him as a super soldier and a very skilled warrior, suggesting that if Matthew was indeed responsible, he would have been capable of constructing a more sophisticated explosive device than the one used, which included propane tanks and camping fuel. This has led to questions about the nature of the incident, given his military skills. His family has portrayed him as a patriot and a big supporter of President-elect Donald Trump, with some family members stating he loved Trump and was 100% a patriot. Again, it draws into question, like, why do it at a Trump hotel in a Tesla, which he loved, unless, of course, there was some serious psychological damage there, some serious psychological problems and trauma. Now, the military has said that he was suffering from PTSD. It's just, there's a lot of questions right now. Again, none of this answers the question of, they said he shot himself before the explosion, but it seems clear that he didn't. That's misinformation. It appears to be that way. His family was stunned. I mean, that's the sort of thing you do hear sometimes. So, you can put, what importance on that you will. The meds thing is interesting. Let's see. We've got these manifestos. We've got this manifesto, which was sent out, which allegedly from him. And this one he's talking about, well, he says, in case I do not make it to my decision point or on the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until the 1st of January and keep my identity private until then. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. I've seen on X that there's people questioning that it was actually a different car. Can't verify that. What we have been seeing with drones is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China in the East Coast, but throughout history, the US. Only we and China have this capability. Our OPSAN location for this activity is in the box below. So talking about gravitic drives, is this actually from him? It's claimed that it's from him. I don't think that that's been confirmed, that he definitely wrote that. Again, if you wanted to make somebody sound crazy, this is a sort of thing that like an intelligence agent would see as this will make the person seem crazy. Hold on. Sam confirms that Livensberger's signal safety number changed after he died. So let's hear this quickly. Now, what is a signal safety number? A safety number is a unique number in Signal that allows users to verify the security of their messages and calls with a specific contact. The purpose, safety numbers help ensure that users are communicating with the intended recipient and that their messages are secure. So this is how you know the person that you think you're talking to is actually the person that you're talking to. Let's hear what he has to say here.
And I want to give context on one of the things. I saw this going around on social media. People were saying that his Signal chat, his safety number changed. I don't know if you saw this on X, but it was all over X. Apparently his safety number on Signal changed. He messaged me on Signal. So I went on there to look myself to see if it changed. And sure enough, it had. On January 1st, after the bombing, after he was dead, his safety number changed. That's all he sent me. He said initial contact, and I gave a thumbs up, and his safety number changed at the bottom.
Look at that.
That's after he's dead. I don't know enough about Signal to know why that would happen. Somebody has to have manipulated that, though, and messed with it. Somebody had to have been in his account after the fact and done something for that to have changed.
What did the FBI say when you contacted him?
Not a lot. I gave him the story on what went down. Was very over the top, telling them, hey, I am being transparent in every way. Feel free to contact me at any time. This is my address, my name. This is why he contacted me. This is my social media page. This is any reason why this could have happened, why this got dumped on me. This is the information. They took it. They were gracious. They were nice to talk to. Mind you, I had to explain what a VBID was, which was disheartening because you're the FBI, but that's another issue.
So you see stuff like that and you start to, draw, the legitimacy of these notes that we've seen come out. You start to question the legitimacy of those. It's not like we haven't seen a lot of crazy, weird stuff, right? I mean, talking about the Butler assassination attempt on Trump, still haven't gotten anything out of his phones apparently, but they've gotten a couple of things out of Livensberger's phone already, which seems a bit strange, doesn't it? Let's check this out. Back to the Sean Ryan show here.
Nothing ever like this has ever come in. But I get a well, it started off as comments. And he said, what I'm going to send you, now these are literally his words, what I'm going to send you is going to change the course of humanity. That was his phrase, change the course of humanity. Okay, a little bit dramatic. So I give him my Proton email account, give him my signal number. And he reaches out immediately and said, like I said, this last Sunday, he said, sending with a VPN active on Wi-Fi only. That's how I ended up getting this message on Tuesday. So the message that this right here, this manifesto, if you want to call it that, came in on Tuesday. And when I started reading this, my initial take was, okay, this is off the deep end. It's bonkers. I can't validate or verify any of the stuff in this manifesto. That's the last time I talked to him. We're Friday now. That was 3 days ago.
So
the day before
30th.
Yeah.
So he's talking about that note with talking about their gravitic drives in China and the drones. All right, here's another one. So James Dunn says, so I ran the Sean Ryan show Tesla bomber email against AI to determine the likelihood of them being written by the same person. Here's what it spit out. Email 1 is the manifesto recovered by police, and email 2 is the Sean Ryan email. So let's see. The likelihood that these two emails were written by the same person is quite low. Here's an assessment based on key factors. Writing style, differences. The first email is emotionally charged and informal with frequent grammatical errors and misspellings, suggesting a less polished or spontaneous writing style. The second email is formal, structured, and uses technical jargon, including a high level of familiarity with military and intelligence language. Assessment. A single author would need to adopt two vastly different writing personas, which is unlikely unless they are deliberately trying to mask their identity. Let's move on. Subject matter expertise. Email 1 contains broad, generalized commentary on societal and cultural issues with little technical specificity. Email 2 demonstrates in-depth knowledge of military operations, technology, and classified programs, including specific names, acronyms, and operational details. Assessment. The second email requires a level of expertise and access that the first email does not hint at. It's improbable for the same person to write such divergent content unless they are selectively revealing different parts of their knowledge base. Grammar and spelling. Frequent errors suggest a lack of attention to detail or lower language proficiency. That's email 1. Email 2, mostly error-free except for minor typographical mistakes, consistent with rushed writing rather than a lack of skill. Assessment. It's uncommon for a single author to vary so significantly in grammatical accuracy and writing sophistication unless under different circumstances or emotional states. Psychological profile. Email 1 suggests an emotionally reactive individual who is venting frustration and expressing personal and societal grievances. Email 2 suggests a methodical and strategic thinker focused on conveying specific high-stakes information. Assessment. These psychological profiles are quite distinct, reducing the likelihood of them being the same person. Now, if this was mental illness, psychological issues of some kind, you're dealing with the same state the whole time, right? If it's an issue of changing meds and something happening, which isn't confirmed, but there are people who know him saying that he changed his meds. If that was the case and just suddenly he went off, you'd expect him to be in the same confused state, right? You'd expect the things that he wrote to be similar, to match that state. So again, it's just there's no stories anymore. Big stories that just seem to be clean, are there? Everything seems suspicious in some way. Especially, when you see a story like this and you look at the footage of the car and you see the claims that are made by like the FBI about he shot himself first and then the car exploded, and then you see the footage and you go, it sure doesn't look like that. At least not with the weapon that they're saying that was used, which would have pretty much just taken his head off. Like there wouldn't be a head in the car. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, this is important. So police say Tesla has confirmed the vehicle was not in self-driving mode. I believe that is confirmed, that Tesla has said the vehicle was not in self-driving mode. That's important. That throws another curveball on this, right? He did drive it up himself. That seems to be confirmed at this point. Now, I saw somebody in the chat just a little while ago was talking about they want to see the video feed from the Tesla itself. I know that Elon Musk has sent some of his people there to recover that footage. So that may well be coming out. And that will solve some issues. Again, I want to go back to this because this is really the crucial thing, right? Let's take a look. This certainly, if he had shot himself in the head with a 50 cal weapon, 50 cal, he'd have no head. Right? You can see here, and it appears that the head moves. It does not seem that. It seems like he's alive before the explosion, which again strangely starts at the front of the car, not at the back where everything was packed. So when you have this, you have the initial claim, and then you have this, you have to, it really does throw the whole thing into doubt, as if we haven't learned already to take everything with a giant grain of salt and question everything. You know, even without all of that, even if everything had been totally above board, everything with the, you know, Butler assassination attempt had been handled above board and it all made sense, still, just this alone, you go, well, wait a second, they can't possibly be telling the truth. But what happened at that instant of the explosion and right before that? So it's a big, this is, I'm not going to pretend to tell you I know what's going on here. I don't. All I know is that there are things that don't add up. And the official story doesn't seem to be adding up. So with that said, let's get to the chat. Let's hear what you guys have to say about it. Let's see. Because I know you guys are going to make some great points. Well, Izzy says, yeah, we want a battle. The war is yet to begin. Deep state isn't going to just lay down now, sadly. Yeah, talking about the election. Yeah, 100%. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Izzy says he probably took it to a car wash before the explosion, too. Yeah, that video of him cleaning off the footstep. Seems like an odd thing to do if you're just going to blow the car up. Nevada says, I don't believe anything about this Vegas deal. Yeah. And the time of just credulously believing what people on TV say is over. They've proved they can't be trusted. They've proved that the words that come out of their teleprompters can't be trusted. That's not to say that it's everything they say is false. It's not. It's just that truth gives way to narrative whenever that's necessary. And we know that now. Izzy says, yeah, I want body armor made from passports. Here, Luke is working on it. Is that Luke Rudkowski? We Are Change? He's good. I like Luke. If that's what you're talking about. Yeah. I guess just make body armor out of passports now. Apparently it's the toughest, it's the most explosion, it's the most trauma-resistant thing in the world, apparently. Nevada says 50 cal Eagle. FBI City out of 50. Because he says, I want to see footage from the cameras. Yeah. I know Elon Musk has sent people. He's sent top men to do it. So maybe there will be something coming out. You'd have to think it's likely, right? Because isn't that stuff like sent out? Isn't it beamed out, you know, to like a Musk satellite or something? In the car, he says, yeah, we all want to see it. As he says, sadly, I'd have to double check if the FBI said the sky was blue. Yeah. Yeah, and you'd be right to do that. Let's see. Hey, radio streamer, how you doing? Good to see you in the chat. Lee says, hello, my fellow deplorable, MAGA, trash, orange, Hitler-following, cisgender, God-fearing, Constitution-loving countrymen and women. And hello to you. Rosie says, PTSD is real. However, this is extremely convenient to change meds so recently. Yeah, I mean, this is a really convoluted, crazy story at this point. Nevada says, manifesto sounds like the FBI wrote it. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you. Rosie says, yeah, it sounds created. Radio Streamer says, let's be honest. If they really did want to shut someone up, they have the gusto to try and make a point while destroying a person's credibility at the same time. Nothing would surprise me. Just the whole Cybertruck in front of Trump Tower is so just on the nose, isn't it? That's the first thing that you think. Like, first off, it's got to be a leftist. It's a Tesla. They hate Elon Musk. They hate Donald Trump, Trump Hotel. That's the first thing that you go, it's so on the nose. Nevada says, commies will stop at nothing. They will stop at nothing. They don't care. I mean, commies, they know where communism goes. They know what it does to human beings. They know what it does to the well-being of other human beings, and they don't care. They still do it. I mean, it is such a tragedy that the public by and large does not view communism and, the Nazis, fascism, in exactly the same way. They should be seen in exactly the same way, right? It should be totally unacceptable to be a communist, to be a democratic socialist, to be anywhere near that. It should be. Because if you look at the crimes of the Marxists, over the 20th century, over 100 million dead needlessly. Like mass starvation. The Holodomor. I mean, we're talking about genocide. You take a look at Mao, tens of millions of people needlessly. It should be just totally unacceptable in polite society to have anything to do with that. It should be deeply embarrassing. Deeply. It should be considered utterly shameful. Utterly shameful. And yet, zombie Soviet propaganda, it still lives and breathes among us. Well, I guess it's not really is it alive? Is it dead? I don't know. It just keeps going. Maybe, zombie propaganda is probably a good word for it. It's probably a good term for it. But it is a tragedy for Western civilization that these terrible ideas are allowed to persist and they're tolerated. And they're not just tolerated, they're favored. They're favored by the institutions. They've taken over the institutions, in fact. Anyway, Radio Streamer says, after years of we can't share that, there may be copycats. I don't buy all this transparency, not unless they're just trying to get Trump, also known as Dodge, kill their department last. Oh, Doge, sorry. It's weird when, it's just odd when, for instance, what was in the phone of that, was it Thomas Crooks and Butler? Tried to kill Trump? What was in his phone? Still don't know. Immediately they find things on this guy's phone. It all just seems awfully convenient, doesn't it? It really just does feel like they're just feeding things they want you to know or to think are true. I don't know. It does feel like that and seem like that. It seems exactly like that, as a matter of fact. Let's see. Rosie says, New Orleans incident happened first. Today, apparent suicide of assistant DA in New Orleans Parish. I haven't seen that. Let's see. Streamer says, getting Lee Harvey Oswalded as a saying for a reason is a saying for a reason. Nevada says, when a transgender shoots up a Christian school, the FBI doesn't release the manifesto a year later. Come on, folks. Yeah, I mean, that goes to the point of what I was just saying, right? Need to know basis, I guess. David Edwards is saying, hey, how you doing, Dave? Good to see you in the chat. He's saying, my question would be, why would this guy go on Sean's show and lie about this? He would have to know people would look into his claims. Well, I don't know if people are saying that he's lying about it, but he got something that was not authentic. So he's talking about the signal number on Signal, right? The authorization number. And he was saying that had actually been changed. So the signal number, the signal code, let's go back to that again. So, the safety number. Safety number is a unique number in Signal that allows users to verify the security of their messages and calls with a specific contact. So, yeah, he was saying that had actually been changed. So, not that he's lying, but just somebody else sent it. Maybe somebody glowing. I don't know. Let's see. Nevada says the body was burned beyond recognition, but they got his IDs. I know. Again, it's just kind of weird, right? Let's see. Rosie says, interesting how the convenient items last through destruction. It certainly is. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to have to cut off the YouTube portion of this soon, actually. Let's see. Izzy says, yeah, him snapping because of a change in meds or otherwise drug makes most sense given everything else we know. That's certainly a possibility. I still want to know why they said he shot himself right before, though, when we have video that seems to be show pretty clearly that he didn't. Or at least not with the weapon that they're saying was used, although it looks like you can actually see him move. And he doesn't have a giant hole in his head. Again, that weapon, would basically, there'd be no head. All right. Let me scan through these and we'll get to the next story. All right. So what do I think happened? I have no idea. It just seems pretty weird. Maybe we'll get more information that will clarify all of this. Probably not, really, because again, so what do we know about Thomas Crooks? What do we know about the Trump attempted assassinator in Butler? We still don't know anything. That's just been kept real quiet, hasn't it? So I don't know. Maybe, I'm looking forward to Kash Patel getting in. I'm looking forward to the Trump administration actually taking power and being able to look into all of this stuff. Will we get the truth from them? Well, there's a better chance than getting it now. But there's odd things about this, very odd things. Again, first and foremost, this. Let's take one more look at it. There we go. He did not shoot himself in the head with that weapon. That's just, no. There'd be no head there, or very little. So that's just the giant dinosaur in the room. And it's not even an elephant. It's a giant whale in the room. They said he shot himself right before. It's pretty clear he didn't, at least not with that weapon. So when that's where you're starting out, you really have to question everything after that, I think. Let's see. Nevada says, Cash going to tell us, I hope. Yeah, hopefully so. All right. So I think that's it for the YouTube portion of this tonight. We're going to keep going on Rumble. So, yeah, we normally typically do about an hour on YouTube, and then we cut off that part. We'll continue on Rumble. So if you're watching on Rumble if you're watching on YouTube right now, please join us on Rumble. It's awesome. There's always way more people over here, and the chat's like really busy, and it's fun. It's way more fun. Water's great. Join us over here. It's awesome. Introduce yourself. Best chat on the internet. You're going to love it. Otherwise, I will hopefully see you all on Tuesday night for another hour. But again, Tuesday night, we'll probably do like 3 hours on Rumble. So, it's up to you. I hope to see you. I want you to know that I'm not doing this because I don't care about you. You are loved. You are loved on Radio Baloney. You are. It's just that YouTube's a problem for me. So we'll see you soon. Join us on Rumble. See you later. Ah.